Hi Lisa, when I put my attention down from my head without following any thought, I'm able to be in a space of deep silence, peace, clarity, joy, freedom. I can stay here as long as I want, access it whenever I want, move from the space where my mind is being used, but is not the one in charge. The issue is this creates tension and contradiction in my head and heart, sometimes more or not a lot, but I wonder if it may be resistance because I am resisting thought and bypassing the emotions connected to those thoughts which create tension. Even though it is also a huge relief to be out of the busyness of the mind, I experimented for 2 weeks staying in this quiet, calm space, and it was really wonderful. But because of the contradictions, I tried going back to normal busy mind mode. The contradictions released, but then a flood of possibly all the emotions and thoughts I hadn't felt for 2 weeks came in intently, and it was really challenging and painful. I really tried to stay in the clear, empty space while feeling into the contradictions, and there is also a lot of fear, grief that feels never ending no matter how much time I spend feeling it without thought. This fear, grief, tension is in the heart even when I'm in normal thinking mode too. It's just much worse when I stop following thoughts. Any suggestions if I should keep trying to stay longer in this space of not attaching to thought even if there's tension, or should I try another way to disidentify with thought? Yeah, hi M, thank you so much for your question. Yes, there's lots of things in there. So the most important thing is to know that you are not the doer. So when you're moving your attention to stay in thoughts, to stay out of thoughts, to put your attention in, did you say the I am, or when I put my attention down from my head without following any thoughts, I'm able, so down from your head, I don't know what you mean is down from your head, but you're maybe putting your attention in the moment or putting it in the feeling of I am. And then no thought arises. So to know that that's not a you doing it, that movement is happening, but not by you. And why is it important to know that? It's important to know that because in the end, we're giving everything back to God. We're giving everything back to the divine. So if I pursue this talk, supposing that you have the choice, I want there to also be a clarity that it's not really you doing it. So Roger used to say, I loved it when he said this, it might sound like I'm giving prescription, but what I'm actually doing is giving a description of something that may or may not happen. So when I answer your apparent prescriptive questions of what should you do, just know I'm giving a description, and there might be an acting that out from that energy, or there might not. And it's not your will, it's God's will. And this is the ultimate realization that everything is God's will, that everything is a movement of God. Everything is a movement of God. Yeah. And then for your next question, I always feel that concentration and loving compassion are the two most important qualities for this. So, what does concentration mean? Concentration is the ability to discern that the thoughts aren't your truth, the thoughts are never going to free you, and they're not what you're ultimately looking for. The same with the feelings. So that's what I mean by concentration. The ability to have a one-pointed focus. That what you're looking for is yourself, and yourself is this moment. And to break the addiction to experience, to pain and pleasure, to seemingly freeing yourself through time, which never works. And what I mean by that is the getting pleasures which relieve you from your mental suffering, and avoiding pain which you believe will take away your freedom. So that's seeking. So the ability to break that seeking in time is not really what I want. It's not absolutely what I want. What I want is this moment, is what I've always been, what I am, and what is always here, what we can define as God. And that is an awakening, this realization, is what you want is nowness, isness, beingness. And you're not wanting to free yourself in time. So what you're doing is you've got very good concentration. You've got the ability to stay here in this moment. So to put the focus in this moment and not to go off into a daydream. That's an important quality. However, there's also the loving and compassion side. And this is the becoming authentically you. So when you take off the safeguard of the mind, which is creating an ego and an identity, when you take that off, you then can authentically be yourself. So when you relinquish control, you're not going into this automatic mode that is not really you. That's hard to describe. What can happen when you relinquish control is if you haven't done enough loving compassion work on the human, and you're not becoming more and more yourself on the human level, rather than being a character that other people want you to be. When you relinquish control, then all those seeking patterns still carry on in your body, and more tension and shadow builds up in your body. So there has to be this investigation to an extent into your psychology and your illusions to become more authentically yourself. And what does that look like? It looks like so many different things dependent on who you are. But before, when you're identified, you're only being this character that you created. You're not being yourself. So it's a bit like, when you do spiritual dancing, at first you dance to look good. But then as you really get into spiritual dancing, like 5 rhythms or biodance or something, it's about letting the music dance you. So you relinquish the control and you're really letting your body dance and be and do what it wants. And it's so incredibly healthy. So rather than you dancing, the music is dancing you. So you're so in tune with the music dances you, and you'll become insanely beautiful because you'll be authentically yourself in that moment. You're not separate from the music. So when I say being authentically yourself, it's all you're going back to your original character before you created a character. So you're going back to your original authentic self. It's like your character is coming directly from God. There isn't this next person that's then in there arguing with God and trying to make you lovable to other people, kind to other people, likable by other people. So why I would say that your body is building up tension is because your body is not acting authentically itself. So you've got your personal attention in itself, so your mind is still, but your body is still acting out the illusion of you. So therefore it's gaining more and more tension. So you have to go in and investigate these lies that you're telling yourself and that you're telling other people. So you have to become the character in which God created. And this takes fierce love and compassion. I hope that is explained well enough. That's incredibly complicated to explain. You have to be yourself on the human level. But that's why you're building up shadow, I would suspect. Thank you so much for your question.